Hi everybody, and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. I'm going to be doing a quick Q&A today. I probably have enough for about 3 Q&As at the moment. So if you have any questions, ask me below, email me, tweet me, Instagram me. Either way, and then I can add them to the next video. This one is about essentially reusable items. My last one was about transitioning in between disposables and reusables. So just a couple of questions. The first one that I see that gets asked a lot still is that how many should I order? And I briefly went over this in the Q&A one, but I feel I'll go over it again. There are basically 3 things to consider, and those 3 things are: 1, your financial situation, and this will essentially dictate how many you can afford and how long it will take you to create a stash that you are comfortable with, and that suits you. 2, how many single-use products do you currently use? I feel that this is a much greater basis for creating your stash than just randomly picking a number. How many products would you use if finance wasn't an issue? So if you were able to change as often as much as you like without having to have a financial concern, how many times would that be? And number 3 is laundry. So how often do you want to do your laundry? Do you have access to laundry? Do you have easy access to laundry? What is your current washing routine? Do you want to do washing every day? Do you want to do it every couple of days? Do you want to have to wash your menstrual products every day to then dry them out and then use them on a second day? And so all of these things have to come into consideration for how your cycle works. I think it's kind of irresponsible to suggest between 12 and 20, as it doesn't really give you any idea of the practicality of using cloth menstrual pads. Like, it just doesn't. I have more than I need for one cycle. However, I did, when I first started doing this, I did follow this advice by ordering, I think I ordered 7 liners, 10 moderates and 10 heavies. So I ordered essentially 20 for my cycle, and then had liners because I wore liners every day. However, this really wasn't an accurate representation of how many products I used over my cycle. Well, I can't remember where I was up to, so I'll just go from that. I think I was talking about suggesting 50 to 20 of your period was a bit irresponsible because it doesn't take into account all of your personal capacity. And that when I first ordered them, I ordered 20 plus a week's worth of liners, and it essentially wasn't enough to get me through my period, and I had to then wash halfway through. If you haven't used if you haven't used cloth pads before, they are quite thick, or not thick, they are thicker, but just kind of in terms of drying times, just think about towels. Like, how long it takes you to dry towels is pretty well much how long it's going to take you to dry cloth pads in the sun. So consequently, it's not necessarily always realistic to wash them, hang them out, dry them and wear them again the next day, because quite often they can take a while to dry depending on the where you live and the season. I mean, granted, when I live in a country that's quite hot. I live in Australia, and during the summer it will probably take, 5 or 6 hours to dry really, really well, to like that really crispy kind of dry. But in winter it will take, all day in the sun to dry. If you're in a snowy or colder climate, it's just not going to be, it's going to take you longer, and so you have to consider how many you use, how many you need to use, how many times you need to change, and really that should give you a far more accurate number as to how much you need. The next question I see quite a lot is what type of size should I order? And I've seen a lot of suggestions to use traditional pads as a measurement for your pad of preference. So take, your favourite pad, and then use that, measure it with a tape measure or a ruler, and use that as the basis for your pad ordering. More often than not, this type of a traditional type pad actually comes across as they're very straight, and they're very straight, and so you can actually get far more options with cloth pads than you can in disposable pads. One of the samples of this, so this is a Chinese cheapie. I will be doing a video on these later, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but a traditional pad will be this type of straight up and down. It will be lined with plastic on the back, and it will have some type of absorbent top, and so probably these kind of this is a really good example of a straight flat style, as a la traditional styles of pads. And so you can definitely use that. It's not necessarily bad advice. However, there are so many more options that come with cloth pads that do not come with store-bought plastic pads, single-use pads. And so this advice almost becomes kind of irrelevant for this reason. Most commercial liners are between 5 and 8 inches, most regular are 9 to 10 inches, and most heavy and overnights are 11 to 12 inches in traditional single-use pads. They are almost always straight or slightly curved, and there are very few other options. So as I said, this Chinese cheapie probably more simulates the traditional style of, not traditional style because plastic pads are not traditional, they've only been around since the 1930s. However, probably more simulates the shape and size of pads. But as you can see from the selection I have in front of me, there is a diverse range of pads. This one here is a 7-inch, and as you can tell has this very direct. This is from Crimson Cloth Creations. She has her own website. This is another 7-inch. This is from Novel Red. As you can tell, this is very much of a straight style. This is a slight curve flare. This is 8-inch. This is from Daisy and Bird, and is cotton knit top. So this is a quilter's cotton topped fleece back. So this is cotton knit top with fleece back. So as you can see, the comparison between the straight, the curved, and like the divoted in. So both of these are 7 inches. And this is a 7-inch compared to an 8-inch. Okay, also another thing that you would have to consider is whether you're a front bleeder, centre bleeder, or a back bleeder, because there are far more options that come with cloth pads. So these are both 8-inch front bleeder pads. I'm actually not a front bleeder, I am a back bleeder. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. I am a centre bleeder, but I usually bleed in this section of the pad. But front bleeders can quite often just bleed in this part of the pad, and back bleeders can almost wear this way because they'll bleed down the back. Okay, so this one here is by Go With Your Flow. It is a cotton knit top and then a corduroy, like this sand corduroy backed. These all have cam snaps. This one here is OBV topped corduroy, hand dyed corduroy back, green cam snaps from Erin Sweet Sew. Both of these are Australian makers. Go With Your Flow is from Canberra and Erin Sweet Sew is from Etsy. And corduroy by far is my favourite backing. However, these show that there are many different sizes and shapes and styles, and depending on how you bleed. As you can see from this one, this is an 11-inch straight with a slight curve at the back. This one is another, this is an 11.5 inch with a bigger curve. This one here is an overnight, and as you can see, it has this wide base because, you know, when you sleep, if you sleep on your side or sleep on your back, it gives you a bit more coverage depending on how you sleep. So these are the types of considerations that you can actually give to the size that you need, the shape that you need, which aren't options for you when you use single-use pads. So if you are a back sleeper, you can wear this towards the back. If you are a front sleeper, almost the same as when I showed you the front and back beater pads, you can do the same thing if you sleep on your stomach. You know, these can be turned around and still snapped to your underwear, which means it gives you a lot more flexibility in the style that you bleed and the shapes that you have, and also, you know, the patterns that you have. So this one here is another one. This one's actually one of my favorites. It's from a Canadian maker called Venus Pads. As you can see, it has this type of style and mermaid tail. This one is from Kitty Cat Cloth and is in a sitting cat position. This one here is from Misandry Made and comes in this ultra curve flare. So you can see from all of these that this comes with a slight curve and this one comes with a much bigger curve. These three here are all 10 inches. So my point is that the size that you should order is really dependent on your body shape, on your bleeding style, on what you prefer to wear, on what type of underwear that you wear. I actually don't have a G-string, and I don't wear G-strings. I find them irritating and purposeless. However, that is, again, a personal choice for me. If you wear G-strings, you can get pads that match G-strings. You can get pads that match boy shorts. You can buy period underwear that is a boxer brief but with an internal gusset that you can snap a pad to, which is particularly helpful for trans menstruators. So I think I can link, they're called Pyramid 7, I'll possibly link their website down below. So as you can see, there is a diversity in the type of size, shape and style that you can order, and these have so much more to do with personal preference than single-use products. The next kind of question is what else do I need, and what else, you know, do I need to get into cloth pads outside of these types of cloth pads. Essentially, what would be useful for people is a wet bag. There are lots of different types of wet bags, but essentially an average one that you will find and you will get is something like this. Okay, and generally you will see in a lot of cleaning people are doing cleaning, how I clean my videos, is that they will use this type of bag to store their pads in before they wash them. And these are very useful. I've seen people do wet and dry storing in these. I do not wet store, I only dry store. So essentially what I'll do is, after I finish with a pad, and I will take it off my underwear, I will essentially fold it in half, you put it in the bag, and then fill it up with soil pads. The one thing that to keep in mind is that once you put them in, leave this open, because it will need oxygen flow to go through. If you've watched my how I wash my cleaning routine on my channel, you'll notice that I don't actually use a wet bag. I use a bin that is lined in flannel, and I just put them all in there when I'm at home, and that actually has a really good air circulation, so it actually, I find, works better than this. While blood on your pads doesn't really smell, I'm going to do another Q&A on hygiene, but once you have, once this is full of 20 or 30 pads, it can get a bit, it's not even smelly, but once you open it out and pull them out, this is plastic lined, it's PUL lined, which is polyurethane laminate, I believe. So it can get a bit, it's not a dirty smell, it's kind of like more of a, yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but I don't get any type of issues with using the bucket that I use, which you'll see if you go and watch the cleaning video. For on the move, also to soak, you'll need probably a laundry bucket to soak. You can also use your bathtub or your sink, depending obviously on the circumstances that you live with. I also have an accessories video that you can watch, just so you can see what type of accessories that I have. So your essential things that you need is somewhere to store your soil pads, somewhere to soak your soil pads, and obviously then access to a laundry to wash your soil pads. You may also want something to hang them up, and you can use a variety of things to hang up, including those internal line things. This is the type of line hang that I was talking about, or you can always just hang them directly on your line. Essentially, drying them in the dryer is not recommended, but there are makers out, or there are users of cloth pads out there that do that, and you'll find their videos here on YouTube. And I think this video is going to be longer than I anticipated, to be honest. The next question is how to deal with your period when you are out and about. This type of wet bag would probably be too big for you to be taking out and about, to be honest with you. If you actually follow me on Instagram, you will actually see how I deal with that. But just to do a quick overview, I usually, that's my cup cleaning, I usually in here will just have a bunch of pads folded up. So I usually just kind of fold them up like this until, put them down that way so they're easier to just do this one up. Like this. And then I'll put them in here and take that in my bag. To get to and from the bathroom, I will usually use a pad wrapper, like this, like these two. And so what I do is I'll go to the bathroom with, say, this is my clean pad, so I'll have it in here. I'll put this in my pocket, I'll go to the bathroom, I'll put the soiled one in here, and I'll go back to my desk. Now there are two options for this. I can either carry multiple ones of this and take it all the ones that are soiled home this way, or what I usually do is take a wet bag with me. I have a variety of wet bags, but This one here you would have seen before, and it is so then I'll just put the soiled ones in here and have this in my bag. I've had 5 or 6 soiled ones in this bag, and then I've taken it home and put this in my bucket until I've actually washed for the day. The other option that you can actually take, so if I've gone out, I've also put this in here to take it with me. The other thing, if you wear a cup, is that the reason why this is not in its container is because I've washed the container but haven't actually sterilised this yet, which I will do at some point. Is a cup spot, so if you've changed out in public, you have somewhere to put your cup that's slightly clean, and these are of course are machine washable. These would also fit into here with my clean pads. And then the other option that you have is taking one of these types of wet bags with you, that as you can see is quite small. It will fit quite easily in your bag. This is where you can keep your clean pads, so depending on how long you're going out for, so I'm just going to put these clean pads out and show you what I mean, is that you can just put your clean pads in this little front pocket. This is also small and probably cute enough that you can actually take to the bathroom with you. And then what you would do is, once you've removed your soiled pad and you've taken off your soiled pad, you can put it in this bag, this section, and this section in here is PUL lined. And then you can clip it up. As long as there's airflow to your soiled pads, you will not have any smell or any association with that. This is from a Etsy maker called the Purple Panda. So there are a variety of out and about options. The only difference really between disposable and or single use and these types of pads is that you take these home, and you can, if you're at school or at work, they will be in your bag soiled. However, they don't smell, they don't create any problems, and they're easy enough to take to and from the bathroom and then to and from home. And I've literally been doing this for 18 months and I've never had an issue with that. So, you know, there's no smell, there's no difference, and literally unless you're going to pull them out of your bag to show everyone, no one's going to know. And I also do not rinse my pads at all. I do not rinse them out when I'm at home, I do not rinse them out when I'm at work, and so I'm also not going to carry around wet pads that may get moldy or mildewy if they are like wet for too long. I live in a very humid and hot environment, and it's a very bad idea to leave things wet without drying them out, which is another reason why I don't wet store or rinse them out first. Okay, hopefully this video is not going to go on too much longer. I didn't realize how long this was going to be. So kind of in kind of conjunction to